Legend of Deadman's Cave, where three prospectors found Spanish gold bars and skeletons. I bushcraft up this very steep ridge line, over 2,000 feet, looking for routes to this mine. I take a break and explain to you what I know and where I think it is and where I'm headed.
Before that, you can dip down from up here down into Deadmans, like at least one of like the drainages for Deadmans. And the reason I'm doing this is because I think I know where some of the buried Spanish treasure is. And by buried, more like it's in a cave in crude gold bars with 5 skeletons that were found in 1880. And I'm going to go over like the gist of it, but basically in 1880, 3 prospectors slash geologists, they were up Deadmans. They called it Deadman's Camp. And for a long time, people have thought like Deadman's Camp is a camp that you can find way out in the wetlands. But it got its name, Deadman's, from this incident. Because Deadman's Camp, before Deadman's Camp, was just their regular camp. And so they were most likely stationed down in the creek. And then they said they went north about 2 miles. You know, I don't think 2 miles is a crow fly. It's just like movement 2 miles. And if you take the largest, like it's a smaller valley lead into the larger valley of Deadmans, it's north. It's a north valley that you can walk into. That there's a lot of rocks and exposures over there. Anyway, so I think that's where they started. There's a lot of like dispute and controversy on that, but it's the only thing that makes sense. And there's more supporting evidence that we can talk about momentarily. But basically, it's late fall, early winter, and they're up there looking for like places to mine gold. And all of a sudden, like a huge blizzard comes in, and so they seek shelter. And they find like this. They see this rock like overhang, and so they run over to it to seek this shelter. And then nearby, they spot what looks like a crack that's several feet wide, just going into the mountainside. So they go over to look at this crack, and they go inside, and they don't have anything to light fire, so they're literally using whatever they can find outside, like pine cones and sticks, which tells us that it is around or below timberline, because they have conifers, they have pinyons, they have like biofuel to use, so they make makeshift torches. And they go into this crack, and it opens up into like a larger space. And then from this larger space, it goes into other areas that open up into other rooms. And from there, like it looks like mine shafts, horizontal like mine tunnels that get created going in further that they don't explore. But what they do find is I don't remember if they stepped or kicked, but they a human skull, and then they look and they find at least 5 human skulls there. Now remember, it's hard for them to really see, so they so what they end up doing, I don't know if this is before they found like these gold bars, but they make like a little fire in there just to get more light. And one of them goes into one of the other rooms, and he feels around and finds like these ledges that have been carved out into the rock. And on those ledges, he feels like this really heavy rectangular stone. And so he brings it out to the area where there's more light, and sure enough, it looks like a gold bar with like Spanish insignia on it. And there's a ton of these bars, but they each grab 3, and after the storms pass, they come back down. They hike over, most likely through the passes, like Medano Pass, since they're already down here, over to Silver Cliff, which is where West Cliff is now, which is a prevalent like silver and gold mining town during the day. And they get it verified that this is pure gold. And with that money, which was like something around $700, $800 like a piece, which is a lot back then, they come the next year ready to find and get the rest of this gold and explore it. But what they say is that they can't find it because everything looks the same and there's not all the snow anymore. And it just gets lost to time. And after a few years, they give up, and Many people have tried to find it, and many people have failed, and I might be one of those, but you know what? I think I have a pretty good idea of where it is. So I think that their biggest problem is that they were trying to get into it from the bottom up. And there's clear evidence based on LiDAR that I found that they were actually going from on the ridge lines outside of the Deadman's Creek up over kind of where we are right now, and then going down into the valley from up top and not going all the way down. It's a lot easier, even though still difficult, method to go in. Less erosion and less. You won't have to deal with much snow if you get like an early winter, hiking through Deadmans. And so I've already explored one, and it's an old path that I think might have been Spanish, just based on like the old markings, but it was clearly later reused by Americans later down the road. And a mine that I found on the other side that, let me tell you, like the trail had eroded away. Like there's barely any trail on it to get on the other side once you get like on the southern facing slope. And this mine had some potentially like carvings in there that could potentially be Spanish. But there's other like paths that you can see on LiDAR going up, further up into the mountain that I think go down again. And it goes down into these areas that sound very much where these prospectors were looking and found this place. And the crack in the rock is, I've been thinking about it. I think it's most likely like old fissures, and fault lines that have cracked. It's like these mountains form that have eroded away, creating like these openings where there would be plentiful of gold. And I think that's what they stumbled onto. That's what the Spanish stumbled onto. And it might even be related or the very same place that the Spanish priests forced slaves to mine gold until there was a revolt, and the natives killed the Spanish. Only one monk escaped. So what I'm doing right now is I am trying to go up this ridgeline because hypothetically it might be easier to get up higher with less work. At least like once you get to a certain height. Like I'm almost done with the hard part. There's no guarantee that this is going to be easy, and I didn't see anything on LiDAR, but if you saw one of my latest videos, I found another old path that could potentially have been Spanish origin, that kept going up on like the north facing side, very much the same way that the other path that I was on goes up. And I couldn't find that on LiDAR. I could only find part of the trail, but not the rest of it. And it was pretty clear, still ledge on the other side where I stopped and turned around. So what I'm hoping to see is to see if there's another path that goes up through here too, on this finger that goes up and connects. That might potentially be easier. And the reason I'm looking is because behind me is Cedar Spring, and they have found a Spanish arrasta there. And then later there's a modern mill during the mining age and stuff like that. So that makes me wonder if there wasn't a path up to these gold mines through here as well, and they were bringing it down to that arrastra. But there are also mines down in like the Cedar Spring valley behind me, and so it could very well be for that. But because I cannot see it on the LiDAR, it's best to come here and verify myself. But it's a tough hike. It is a tough hike, but I do think it's like in these areas that I'm very confident about it. I'm very confident based on the description, based on the paths I found, and how they were getting in there. But let's be fair, guys. It's still a needle in a haystack. Like even like exploring that whole area, which may not look that much on like Google Earth, but let me tell you, that is a ton of space that's rugged, and you could overlook it even being, like just a few feet away. So it is a challenge, but you know what? I'm going to keep doing this. What my plans for the future is to actually go up either on this one, if it seems like a good route, if I find an old path, or on the one that's already established, and just like fix it up a little. Like what slowed me down was all the deadfall. especially in areas that got higher up. And so I'm going to try to build a base camp up there, because really you just need time like to go look and rest, because by the time you get up there you're pretty tired. I was pretty beat going up there, exploring around a little bit and coming back down. Didn't even go explore the mine because it was kind of shady. This time though, I brought my helmet and for gas monitor, so at least I can mitigate the risks. But we're going to keep going. I'll tell you if I find anything here. If you guys have any ideas or views on where you think it might be, this treasure, let me know. Like I'm out here exploring, doing the fieldwork conditioning. Like this is going to get me ready for next summer. Hopefully I get time. Business picks up during summer, so it may be limited. But this is the beginning. This is the beginning of this exploration. So any feedback, any ideas, great. If you want to lend out a small drone with LiDAR on it that I can actually hike up into these mountains and do some reconnaissance, that would be amazing. I don't know if it would work, but I feel like a better detailed LiDAR would give like so many answers up here. Anyway, thanks so much, and let's see if anything happens today. We've kind of just gotten started. I know it's been like a couple hours now, but it's I feel like the fun's just begun.